Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Episode 10 in the Right Podcast with Curt Fletcher. Guest this week is Alex Hooper, who you might recognize from America's Got Talent. He was just on there last week, almost made it to the semifinals. Did an awesome job. He's also been on Comedy Central's Roast Battle. Super funny stand-up comedian, too. He's one of my favorite people to work with. Just a super nice guy. So let's go chat with Alex Hooper.
Hey, brother.
What's up, Alex?
How are you, man?
Good, man.
Oh, good.
Did you just get out of the shower?
Pretty recently. Good call. Are we doing video as well, or are we just doing audio?
We're doing video and audio. Is that cool?
Yes. I don't really care how sometimes I'll put on something like a kimono or something like that. But you know what? It's right now. It's kind of hot. I'm good how I am.
Oh, yeah, man.
Sorry I do not have a better background going, but hopefully...
Dude, it's totally fine.
All right, cool. And hopefully my dogs stay chill because these guys are, let's just say they get a little barky sometimes when I start doing podcasts because they're like, why aren't you paying attention to me?
Yeah, I'm staying at my mom's house, and she's got 4 dogs here right now. And
wow.
she's getting home pretty soon, so they're probably going to start barking pretty soon, too, so...
Gotcha. How have you been?
Well, I've been doing great, man. Just trying to stay creative as possible. Just been working my ass off, trying to learn how to play bass and writing movies and shit. And yeah, how about you, man? How's life been treating you? I mean,
good.
On TV, that was cool.
That was great. Got kicked off of TV as well, which is always a cool feeling, but I expected that. But it was great. I mean, I had a really fun week, and it was just so much. It was so much that I went to the desert for 3 days. I went to Sedona with my fiance and a couple friends, and we just decompressed and just
That's awesome, man.
Had a great time. I turned my phone off literally for 3 days, and I was like, I do not care. It's a holiday weekend. I don't want anyone getting a hold of me. I just want to exist.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's super cool. Have you been getting a lot of people hitting you up from the show, talking shit or
a few here and there?
Because I've seen some stuff that you post, like some people send you shitty messages, and I always like the way you respond because you always respond with positivity, and they always change their tune right after that, which I think is really cool.
Usually, I mean, are we going by there right now? By the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, perfect. Well, hi, everyone.
Sorry.
No, it's totally fine. I'm happy to just jump right in. I just find that all they want when they send me a message telling me how terrible I am, how not funny I am, whatever, all they want is for me to start fighting with them because that's how those people get off. And I'm not going to give them the satisfaction.
Yeah.
I'm going to prove to them that whatever you think I am is not what I actually am.
Yeah.
And that if I can shoot a little love and positivity in your direction, then maybe you will realize that you're using your time. You could be using your time in a better way. Hopefully, it's not always the case, but either way, I mean, my fans and love it that I do that because it just increases the fact that I am this genuine, loving human being.
Yeah. I was curious to because when people see you on the show, I wonder if people think that you're just an asshole, because you're one of the nicest dudes I've ever met. But you can just roast the shit out of people, and it's so funny. A lot of
people can't separate that I'm doing I mean, it is me, but it is a characterized, hyperbolized version of me. I mean, when you and I performed together last year at Loonies, I'm not wearing fur coats and snakeskin onesies and shit like that.
I wish you were.
I mean, sometimes I wish I was too, but right now it is 100 degrees out, so no thanks.
Yeah.
But I feel like when people see me doing that, most people are gonna think okay, clearly this is a joke. Right? Why would this person be wearing these things and presenting himself in such a manner? And that's the thing. I'm playing a court jester. That's how I look at myself on that show. Is I'm going in front of royalty, and no one is ever allowed to say anything negative to them ever, except for me. I have been given the right to be able to say whatever I want to an extent. I mean, it goes through a machine of executives that tell me, well, you can't say that one. But the fact that I'm actually extremely impressed with the show of what they allowed me to say on the air. Because some of those were, immediately very negatively received by audience members and by some of the judges. And the fact that producers and network executives are looking at that going, yeah, go ahead, make fun of Sofia Vergara's face, go ahead. It's the things that they won't let you say and the things that they will let you say, there's no rhyme or reason to them. It's like if I told you, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to ask you if you had a few things that maybe didn't make it to the show.
Yeah, I got plenty of those. Dude. I will tell you my number one favorite joke, and I fought tooth and nail to put this on the air, and it was for Sofia Vergara, and it was I loved your soda commercials. That's no joke, but I was surprised it was Pepsi since most Colombians sell Coke, and I gave them like 10 different versions of that joke. I was trying to tell them, I was like, this is perfect, this is clean, and they were like, well, we don't want to generalize Colombians like that. And I was just like, I literally told them, I was like, if you ask any group of Americans what they know about Colombia, 99% of them will say cocaine as their number one answer. I'm not breaking.
And the other 1% is Sofia Vergara.
Yeah, and she would like that to be flipped, but you know what? I can't figure out a way to snort Sofia Vergara yet. But as soon as I do, trust me,
that is a perfect joke, man. That is. But I could see them not wanting to put that on and pissing off all the Colombian that watches the show.
I know, but but then I say something like, "Who did your makeup? A drunk drag queen?"
Yeah.
Which to me, in this environment, is so much worse than me saying that joke. And
that's true.
I think that's why we had so many back and forths, because like a lot of it was like, Alex, obviously this is a very politically, racially, economically charged year. Like so much is happening that's negative that, the fact that I even made it as far as I did on the show, that they wanted me to keep going. It's really a testament to them just allowing me to perform in the way I want to. Because they know, they know those clips are controversial, but they also know that for the most part that I'm not what their audience is looking for. They need things that they can easily digest. Two guys playing acoustic guitar cover songs. Perfect.
Yeah.
Like that is what America needs right now. Freakazoid dressing up in a fur coat and, telling the judges what's wrong with them to their faces, a little bit more dangerous,
Dude, the burn book was awesome, man. Who did you have do the artwork for that?
That's my friend Eddie Malden. I'm actually
okay.
He's a former stand-up comic. He doesn't do stand-up anymore, but he's a cartoonist, and he is a great writer, makes all these cartoons. And I had this idea a couple months ago when I found out there's definitely not going to be an audience, and I was like, God, I am watching comedians die up there, because obviously you and I know the audience is everything. If we feed off a single person that can start laughing, then we know we can direct our focus on that person and start turning other people around. Without them, it's just impossible to seem like you're actually doing a good job. And that was happening all year. As I was watching all these comments, people were like, man, that guy was not funny. And I'm like, there wasn't an audience.
Yeah.
Of course it wasn't, like it didn't seem funny. So when I thought of the idea of the book, I was like, this will work. Hopefully this will work and stand on its own, whether or not I actually have people laughing at it or not. So that dude stepped up. And my Instagram, him and I are posting the entire book on our Instagrams this week, page by page. So you can actually look at the illustrations close up. You can read the jokes that go along with it.
Awesome.
He did so much work for me in such a short amount of time, and I really thank him so much.
How long did it take for him to put that together?
Dude, he told me it took him because it was about 3 weeks before taping when it really started coming together, and that's when he really started having to do these drawings. Because it took so long for everything to get approved. And so he says he did about 120 hours of work in about 2 weeks.
Wow.
To get those to where they were. And I mean, I can't thank him enough because I got him some money from the show, but he's worth so much more than what they were able to pay him, and he was willing, because he's a friend of mine and he believed in the idea, he was willing to step up and do it for super cheap for me.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a brilliant idea. The whole set was brilliant, man. I loved it. It was awesome. And,
thanks, man. Yeah. I mean, you know this, Curt. Like, I mean, you and I, we spent so many years just going to clubs and doing our jokes and all that. But when you get an opportunity to be on TV, especially in a show, in an environment like America's Got Talent, where you can be so outlandish and you can go so wild and really make an idea come to life, I just felt like it would be a disservice to just go up there and just tell these jokes again to their faces. Like, I had to come up with something bigger and show that I'm more creative and more daring in a way, of like taking a risk to do something that hasn't been done before on that show, or really, I don't think really too much in comedy in general. And I think a big part of me going on that show, knowing that I'm not going to like win or anything like that, is just make a mark and make a statement and do something that the comedy world will find and go, okay, if he'll do that on that show, then let's see what he can really do when we open him up.
Yeah, and you got called the new Don Rickles.
The new Young Don Rickles, which I was like, yeah, I mean, dude, you're standing up there. You just did this performance, and I don't know if you knew this. That show was live. Like,
oh yeah.
I did that in the moment, which is, I mean, we haven't performed hardly at all in 6 months. I'm shooting live television with jokes I've never told before without an audience under bright ass, like everything is working against me in that. It's a nightmare scenario. And just to have that validation from Howie calling me that, it just, I mean, he looked like a proud dad up there when he was clapping for me. And it just, it was, I mean, I was just standing up there in a daze because I was like, I'm finished. And now a compliment like that, I mean, God damn, dude. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, Howie Mandel, he's a legend himself, so that's cool coming from him. Absolutely.
Exactly. And especially since he didn't get me the first time I was on the show and he buzzed me off,
Yeah. It was a total change this last time. That was cool. Did you get to talk to the judges at all, like off camera or anything?
Unfortunately not, because of COVID. They keep them very separated.
Oh, especially Howie, probably.
Yeah, I guarantee you. He's the only one I've ever actually talked to out of all of them. I talked to him a couple years ago after my first audition because we ran into each other at the Comedy Store.
Oh, cool.
And when he was walking back after this last performance, we were in a holding area behind the stage, myself and the other contestants, and he was walking by and he was probably 100 feet away, but I just hear him scream, "Alex Hooper, that was brilliant." And I turned and saw him walking by, and I wanted so badly to be able to talk to Heidi and Sophia, because I just wanted to let them know how much I admire them and how important I think they are as women, as leaders, as like they do so much in the entertainment industry. And I wanted to just be like, just so you know, like, this is all out of love. Like, I have nothing but the utmost respect for both of you in what you do. You make me laugh. You make me hard. You make me smile. Like, there's so many wonderful feelings. And, I just wish I could have told them that. I sent them both messages. Who knows if they'll ever see them or not.
They both listen to my podcast, so we're good.
Oh, thank God. I knew it. Sophia, Heidi, thank you so much for being here In the Rye. I knew that I would be able to talk to you at some point, so that's it. But I got to talk to Terry a decent amount.
Oh, cool.
Not a ton, but just because we'd be like shooting like little breakaways and stuff like that. And he was so cool, man. He was so kind and supportive. And at one point, he just looked at me, he goes, "Dude, you're a superstar. I don't know where you're going, but it's somewhere." And
that's cool.
And when you hear a guy like that tell you that compliment, you just realize that like you made the right choices and you're you're going the right way. I did tell him, I think you'll appreciate this. I listened to him on Mark Maron's podcast while I was looking for dirt on all the judges. And I was like, Terry, just so you know, I listened to you on Maron. He goes, "Oh, you did?" And I was like, I wrote some jokes about it, but they did not fly for the censors. He's like, I gotta hear those at some point, man, because he admitted on that podcast that he had a porn addiction, that he almost cheated on his wife, but then he ended up going to a massage parlor and getting a happy ending, and he basically did cheat by doing that, but then he almost lost his marriage over it. So I was like, oh, I'm cranking out jokes right now listening to this, man. And he was I didn't actually get the chance to tell him them, which it would have been kind of weird, just the two of us, but either way, I mean, he was so cool.
That's cool. Have you thought about doing a show, like maybe like a Zoom show, maybe, where people can pay and see your jokes that didn't make the air?
Yeah, actually, that's one of the things that we came up with this weekend while we were out in Arizona. Is we were talking about that, is because I wrote them into a blog about my experience that I haven't released this current one yet, but I put them at the end of the blog, and then I thought, like, we were like, my fiance, a couple friends, and I were talking about it. It's like, no, like, this is better. Like, what if we just put like 10 of the jokes that they would not let me say behind like a $5 paywall, and just let fans go to my website, and if they want to download this like 2-minute video of me just like cranking out these jokes that were too hot for TV. I think for sure, I think it's a really good idea, and I think some of these jokes I was so happy with, you know, like that Sophia one. Like, I mean, to me, when I was writing that joke, you have that moment because obviously you're a masterful like one-liner comedian, and you come up with so many very short non sequiturs and things that when you have that moment where the puzzle fits together perfectly, it's just this, oh my gosh, that's it. I got it. And I'm so excited. I'm emailing my producer. I'm like, look at this one. And then it's like, oh, I love that. Okay, let me go up. And then it gets passed through more and more people. And then it comes down like, no.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's like taking away that light bulb feeling of like, I nailed one, you know?
Yeah, that sucks, man.
What are you going to do? I mean, I know what show I'm on. I'm on a family-friendly show for magicians, jugglers, and child singers. Yeah. And it's, you know, there's times I fight. I'm like, you guys are wrong about this. This is fine. And there's other times when I just give up completely because I'm like, it's just not worth the hassle.
Did you get to hang out with some of the other contestants and stuff? Get to know them?
Yeah, on audition day, obviously there's a bunch of people bumming around that are in your same group. And that was really nice because on my first audition day, John Hastings was there, if you know him.
I don't know him.
Great Canadian comedian. He could travel all over the world. Another LA comic, Sam Brillhart, was there that day too. But then backstage, we were, for 2 straight days, the contestants that were all in my quarterfinal group, we were together most of the time.
Oh, cool.
We were all staying in the hotel. We all had like rehearsals and like blocking stuff together. We would eat together. And so I really got to know them. And the fact is, like, I mean, even though you're like against everybody in a weird way, we all got along so well. We were all rooting for each other. When people would come off stage and come back to, we'd all start clapping for them. I especially really liked hanging out with the couple kid performers that were in my group. One was a 12-year-old dancer, and another one was a 15-year-old singer. And it's very rare that I get to see like performers at such a young age, and especially when they're having such a big moment, that I kind of like took it upon myself to really, you know, try to relate to them and make them laugh, and, you know, try to comfort them of like getting down their nerves, and really just trying to just like encourage them. I mean, the fact is, if you're 12 years old and you're in the live shows of America's Got Talent, you have a huge future. You know what I mean? And so it's just a matter of like, just keep going and being creative and doing you aspect of it. And honestly, it made getting kicked off the show not so bad, because I mean, I kind of expected to get kicked off the show, but knowing that there were other amazing people that would be in my place is totally fine with me, and that makes me happy that I really did enjoy everybody's company.
Yeah, I watched all the shows you're on. What's that? Can you hear me?
Oh no, I froze.
I think my internet's all messed up.
Yeah. I gotcha.
I think it's coming back.
Am I still good?
I can hear you.
In the audience.
I can kind of hear you.
But you can't see me?
Oh, there you are. Okay. I think we're back. Sorry about that, man. My internet was going slow, it said, or is unstable.
Totally cool. Do you edit this at all?
Sometimes. It depends. I'll probably just leave it how it was.
Yeah, sure. Why not? It's just going, huh? What? Huh?
Yeah.
Are you there?
Most of my podcasts always start with, "Hey, can you hear me? Are you there?"
Yeah, of course.
I just leave it.
The Verizon guy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's cool, man. I watched all the episodes you're on, and like, yeah, there's some super talented people. So yeah, that poet guy, man, Brandon. Holy shit, that was great, man.
Dude, I really want him to go far this season.
Yeah.
I think it's to do a message like that is very important, and especially on a show that is very middle America, very middle of the road. You know, people don't necessarily want that, and I've seen a lot of comments. There's a ton of racist comments on the show this season. I think they're always there, but I think this season is even more than usual.
Really?
And everybody was getting them. I mean, in some way or another, like if you were any sort of non POC performer, you on Twitter, you were just getting lit up by these trolls and bots. And I was trying to tell, and the thing is, as someone who's used to that, I told everybody, I was like, guys, do not worry about it. They don't mean anything. Don't respond, or if you're going to respond, just shoot them with love. Or the other thing I love to do is I just say, I agree, that guy's the worst, that person's the worst, and just like do that, because then people, when they see it, they're like, oh, he's fucking with them again, like and so in a whole new way. So my thing is, if you're gonna talk shit about me, go ahead, because all that's doing is driving it up the algorithm and showing every time somebody says, I hate this guy and I wish he'd go away forever, you just showed that clip to 10 more people.
Yeah.
Like when
the only way to make you go away is to not say shit about you.
Exactly. When I don't like something, I just shut up about it. I don't talk about it. And I think if more people could get behind that mentality, I think they would just be happier in their lives. Like, I mean, you would mention how I respond to like those trolls, and yeah, I'm like, hey, do you have a family? Maybe put that energy that you're giving me towards telling them how much you love them. What a novel idea. I bet they miss you because you're on the internet all the time looking up people you don't know and telling them what you think. And I don't know if they think it gets to me or not. Because at this point, man, I mean, 11 years of comedy and a ton of roast stuff, like I could take it. I'm comfortable. I'm fully aware of who I am and what I look like. You will never be meaner to me than I will be to me. So go ahead. Let me hear what you got,
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it's fun. We actually met, you and I were in a competition together. That's how we met.
Laughing Skull, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the year?
2012.
That's damn right, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I was actually going to college at the time. And I wasn't doing much comedy. And then I got into the Laughing Skull, and I was like, oh, shit, so I guess I better go to Atlanta. I had to miss some classes and stuff. But
worth it, though.
Yeah, man, it was such a good time.
It was great.
Just a fun week, man.
It was you, me, Grant Lyon, and Mark Agee all in that room, all staying in that hotel room together.
I know. I was like all you guys are all in LA and shit, like doing all these great things. And I'm like going to college and I'm like, man, these guys are fucking cool.
I mean, dude, I was 3 years into comedy. You could say I was doing great things, but for the most part, I was I was just learning how to struggle and write a joke, and all I wanted to do was go on the road, and I hadn't really done that yet. That was my first comedy festival I ever did.
Oh,
so
cool.
I was just so stoked to meet someone like you and everybody else that I got to meet at that festival, and be like, oh man, comedians from everywhere, not just LA. Like, and this is like, and you know, we get to do so many fun sets, and Atlanta's such a cool city, and just meeting everybody. And that was a cool year too, because Dave Waite won it that year, and he's just such a funny comedian. And it was so nice to see that someone that was just really being themselves, and just throwing out joke after joke after joke, and titties, you know, and to watch him win that thing was awesome. And then he ended up getting like the Tonight Show, or I think, out of it.
Something like that. I remember
super cool.
I think you might have introduced me to him that week. Someone did, because I remember meeting him that week.
I don't think I knew him yet.
Okay. Maybe Grant knew him.
Yeah, that's very possible, because Grant was already a few years ahead of me. In where we were. And so, I mean, I just felt like, you know, those comedy festivals like that, especially when you're that new, I mean, you're literally that is college in a lot of ways. It's college mixed with summer camp. Like, you're learning and you're performing and you're doing activities, but also you are just getting super drunk every single opportunity you can get, eating terrible food, and just, you know.
Did you go to that terrible strip club?
The Claremont Lounge?
Yeah.
You know I did.
Okay, good. I ended up going with Eric Yoder and some other people.
I'm not a strip club person at all.
I'm not either, but I had to see that.
Of course. That's the thing. When everyone else is going and they're like, dude, trust me, this is not a good strip club. That's when I'm like, ooh, interest peaked. Okay. Let me see what a terrible strip club is like. Because if you're like, dude, this is the best, these women are so hot, I'm like, I want nothing to do with this place. I do not need to go lose a bunch of money to look at gorgeous women who want nothing to do with me. I want bruised, battered people that look at me and think like, ugh, I can't believe I have to do this. You know, I want that if I'm going to be in a strip club.
I remember the night I went, there was like a normal looking stripper, and I was like, well, I wonder why she's here. And then she lit her nipples on fire. And I was like, oh, okay, that's why she's here.
That's so great. I mean, sure, they're like, I don't know, you're a little too upscale for this place. She's like, wait a minute, let me get a lighter. And they're like, you know what, you're hired. Welcome. There was a day when one of the headliners gave me some mushrooms, and I just walked around Atlanta just like tripping, and it was just like, oh dude, it was fantastic. And then I went and did 2 sets that night, and I was like, and I spent the day on my own. Like, I'd never been to Atlanta, so I was like, cool, I'm just gonna eat this fungus and just walk around and explore. And God, it was just so fun. Like, I mean, that was still a time when I truly didn't have to care about anything that happened, because I was so new and just experimenting with what I wanted to be. And I mean, even still, a lot of those qualities are still here, but you know, as time goes on, more and more people, your responsibility in this does go up. You know, you need to find a way to make it financially responsible for you to keep doing it. You need to find ways that you need to rise to opportunities. You can't just like fuck around all the time. You do need to actually work hard. And I always did, but like at that time, working hard just meant, all right, just write and just try whatever you want, dude, and see what works. I had a couple really weird years in there where I was just like, I didn't know what I wanted to be or how I wanted to express myself. So I was like, every set was just like, if you watch me perform twice in a row, you would never know it was the same person had you not been looking at me. Just because like, those styles conflicted completely, you know?
I remember that actually, because I did see you perform. I want to say I saw you perform twice in Atlanta, even possibly. But I remember the sets being totally different.
Yeah, I was really, I was very willing to just take the chance and just be like, look, nobody knows who I am.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Like, maybe if I go crazy, it will work if I try this bizarre idea. And I mean, I've kind of kept that mentality with me for a while, but sometimes, like, when you're at, you know how it is, like when you're at a club, like last year when we did Loonies Comedy Corner together, that was my first time headlining that club.
Mm-hmm.
And I really felt like I needed to go in there, and when you're in a club for the first time, you need to go in there and prove yourself.
Yeah.
Immediately. Like, that is not the time to be trying all your new bits or be like, you really need to go out there and do it. And I think you need to know when to step up and really put on your A game, and when it's okay to just be like, whatever happens here happens. I'm going to learn either way, but it might fail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a fun week, man. I was just at Loonies this past weekend.
I saw that. How many people are they putting in there?
The first night, Friday, I want to say they did 40 and 50, and then Saturday was more. I think Saturday late show had to be close to 80.
Okay, but it still felt spaced out enough that it was spaced.
Like, yeah, it was spaced out, but it still felt full. Like, because that room's so great. Like, the customers they get are awesome, man. I've been going there for so long, and like even their small crowds are always awesome. Like I've had so many good small shows at that room, like even a crowd of like 15 is like just in that room. It's always awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I find that like towns like that where they're not, it's a city, but it's not like the biggest city, right? Because it's like an hour and a half from Denver.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a crowd that's a little bit older and a little bit more willing to just really go along with you. They don't get offended by too many things.
Yeah.
And I really end up loving those rooms. Like, I always think, like, I remember last year at one point, I went from Denver to Lincoln, Nebraska. And I was thinking, man, Denver shows are going to be raging. Lincoln, we're going to see what they think about this guy wearing a colorful kimono, And Denver was great, but Lincoln was unbelievable.
Yeah, the Comedy Loft?
Yeah. Which I was very sad to see that club go.
Oh, I know. They're so good. Such great people, man. Bob and
they are
staff, yeah.
They are, but they're bringing it back through the Tada Cabaret Theater that they have there.
Cool.
They actually already booked me to come back in December.
That's great, man.
So they don't have a comedy club anymore, but they're still bringing stand-up comedians to the city. Cool. And if they're the only ones doing it, I really hope that they can continue to grow that scene. Because I mean, you played that club. That club. There was something special about it.
I loved it, man. I did it twice, and just both times just had such a good time, And it's just a cool little college town. It's fun to walk around. Like, I was there in the fall, and it was like the weather was perfect. Just such a cool area,
Oh, lucky you. I was there August 8th and 9th, and I was dying.
I was there a week after you. The other
right.
time. Yeah.
I remember, and because that club is on the second floor, but they don't put any curtains on the windows. So when the first show starts, there was just bright sunlight flying into that room and just baking people. But it's fun because I was like doing crowd work with like people on the street. Like, I was making fun of people that, like, they couldn't even like see and stuff like that. And it was a blast, dude. I mean, I really hope a lot more comedy clubs are going to be able to survive, and I hope new ones are able to pop up after this. Because I mean, it's important. We need it. We have to laugh. We need to give ourselves a break.
Do you have any live shows coming up?
A little bit. I'm starting ever so slightly to get back out there. I've done a couple like local LA ones, like just outside the city, like backyards and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm actually doing the American Comedy Company on Thursday in San Diego, which is my first time playing that club. Cool. They're only putting 40 people in. I think the club holds about 200, but they're only putting 40 in. Now, this club is so funny, dude. Like, they've been having shows when they weren't allowed to by calling them protests. instead of shows. And they were sending the comedian on stage with a little sign that like says I'm protesting, so that technically the government couldn't shut them down, even though they weren't really supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
So their club owner is kind of just going like, you know what? Screw all of this. This isn't fair, and I'm gonna find loopholes around it. So I'm trying to get more stuff like that. I'm definitely, this week is a huge week for me to just be sending out avails for 2021. I've pretty much given up on 2020 on really having a lot of bookings or anything like that. Just because, you know, the uncertainty is really the scary thing, is that people are booking and then you don't know if you're actually going to be able to do the show. And if you have a guarantee of any kind, then they got to pay you something anyway, and then they just keep losing out. And the last thing I want is a comedy club to have to pay me where I didn't even get to perform, because that does not make me feel good in any way. That's not the way I want to make money or take money from a place that's supporting artists like that. So hopefully, I mean, that's my big thing this week, is like use that AGT clip and be like, hey, I'm here. I have heat right now. Take me.
Yeah, definitely, man.
What's so funny though, Curt, is like the first time this AGT clip that happened, like in 2018, I would send that to clubs and some would be like, this is cool. And others would be like, is that like what you're gonna do here? Like, are you gonna wear this crazy outfit and just like make fun of the audience? I was like, no, I'm a comedian. Watch the other tape that I sent you. I was just sending that one because it has millions of views. And then they'd be like, oh, okay, well, that's I don't really know what to do with you, because I don't know what you're gonna do out there. And I think you know, hopefully some clubs take a chance on me and they watch my other tapes and things like that and go, okay, this guy does know how to do stand-up.
Oh, yeah,
It's just not what he does on an AGT. I mean, yeah, I mean, we got to work together. I mean, you know, we did 4 shows together. I mean, maybe a couple roasts came out in crowd work, but for the most part, that's not who I am. It's not what I do.
Yeah, your closing bit, dude, is probably my favorite closing bit that I've seen in years.
Oh, the drop, the
Oh, I love it, man. I've actually because I filmed our sets that weekend, so I've still got it on my computer, so I watch it sometimes.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I'm definitely gonna do that bit on Thursday, because I mean, I really like, it's so great. I'm doing 45 minutes, and I haven't done that in 6-7 months. So I mean, I really like, you know, you get to a point when you walk on stage to do 45 minutes, you got it. You're good. You're like, I know my jokes. I got the time. I'm comfortable. Right now, I'm like scouring my brain going like, what are those jokes? Where did that one go? Is there any, do I have a segue? Like, I feel like I am brand new all over again. And part of that's pretty exciting, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It's, because you get like a nervousness about it, but it kind of gives you an edge, you know? Like I did Tucson the last week of June. I did Laughs in Tucson, and I went to write down my set list, and I got like a couple jokes in. I was like, I don't remember my jokes at all. So I had to go and listen to my album and write them down.
Yeah, dude, I did the same thing where there was one day in quarantine where I was like, I hadn't listened to any of my stand-up or anything, and I was like, okay, here's the last hour that I did. It was in Hawaii, and I was like, okay, let me just listen to it. And I didn't hate it, and I was like laughing at the bits, and I was like, this is how I know I have been away from comedy for too long, because I am finding myself not only tolerable but hilarious. And we should never be listening to our sets going, man, I am funny. Like, that's not what listening to your sets is for. But that's how long it had been since I'd thought about my own material, and like that I was like, man, I'm at that point now.
Hell yeah. Well, cool, man. I was going to ask you, did Tom Brady ever send you a thank you for the sympathy card?
He never did. He never did. And now I've gone and made fun of him all over again. You know, one of my Heidi Klum jokes used Tom Brady. And I'm glad you watched that, though. That was,
dude, that was so funny.
for those that don't know what Curt is referring to, I was invited to go to the media day for the Super Bowl this year, Super Bowl 54, and I got to interview all the players and just ask them goofy questions. And the thing about that is, like, the teams come out for 45 minutes, and you have 45 minutes to fight with 1,000 other reporters to try to get your question in.
And you know nothing about football, right? You're not a football fan at all?
I know a little bit. I like football.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not as in, like, I know all the big players. I can tell you plays. I can tell you what they did and stuff like that. But when it really gets down to the nitty gritty of it, I'm a fair weather fan.
Yeah.
But Craig Gass, comedian who took me out there, has been doing this for years. So he knows exactly how to, like, force his way in and, make something happen. Because the thing is, also, these players kind of enjoy it when they're having fun, because everyone else is like, so how does it feel to be in the Super Bowl? And they're like, it's great. It's a dream come true. Like, how do you think it feels? And then we come in and we're just asking them the goofiest questions and really trying to break them in some way just so we can get that one moment where they start laughing at us. And it was just so cool to be in Miami and be around that energy and get to meet all those players. I mean, I had Jimmy Garoppolo called me, said he's got to grow a mustache like mine if he wants to be this handsome. Yeah. And I was like, hello. I can take that with me all the way to the bank.
Yeah. And then you had that clip. What did you say to Mahomes? Something about how he was in Tom Brady's seat.
Oh, yeah. I literally just yelled out, like, do you feel guilty that you're in Tom Brady's seat? Yeah, I mean, when it was our friend Courtney Cronin actually came up with that bit, because we were all pitching ideas of, like, what's going to be the theme of this year's Super Bowl tape. And she came up with that bit of, like, what if you are trying to get sympathy for Tom Brady for not being there? And we just fell in love with it so much. And it was fun because I was literally getting to, like, act as well while doing improv, because like I do know a lot about football, and Craig would just be like, this guy doesn't know anything. I'm just like, is Tom Brady here though? And just, like, really putting it on. And we allowed the players to roast me and stuff like that. I mean, we really had a good time down there.
That's cool, man. That's a fun experience. I watched it on your website. I'll post your website above your little face there so people can go watch that video. What is it? Hooper Comedy? Alex Hooper Comedy? Or
HooperComedy.com. HooperComedy.com.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure that's on there. There's something else I wanted to ask you, I think.
It's mostly herbal essences and, a mix of the shampoo and conditioner at the same time. Yeah.
Thank you. Let me write that down. Herbal essences.
It'll be good for your beard.
Oh, yeah, I think so too. You should try and getting some commercials or something. You'd send herbal essences your AGT tape, and
yeah, for sure. I mean,
not just comedy bookers, man.
You're right. I mean, I did a commercial earlier. I was actually in a Super Bowl commercial this year too, which was, like, bizarre to have two different Super Bowl, like, connections out of nowhere. But I mean, dude, I had a dry streak for 10 years. I booked a Super Bowl commercial in 2010, and then I booked one this year in 2020.
Oh, wow.
It took me 10 years to book, and to book another commercial. And when you book a huge commercial like that, you're like, cool, everyone's gonna see it, and they're all gonna want to work with me. Wrong. They all saw it and they said, fuck that guy forever, until 10 years went by and everybody forgot who I was, and then they were like, you know what, we can use it again. So yeah, please, herbal essences, hire me. I could use the gig.
That'd be great, man.
You don't stop using hot women in showers, okay? That's not.
Nobody's into that anymore. Hot women are a thing of the past.
They really are. They're canceled.
Yeah, I'm sick of it. Oh, I was going to ask you about your pug yoga calendar.
Oh yeah. So 2018, again, big year for me. I came up with this silly idea of it was the 2018 calendar, but came up with this idea of my pug and I just doing yoga together all over Los Angeles, and it was this pug right here. That is Kimchi. She is from Korea. We rescued her about almost 6 years ago. And one day I took an Instagram photo of her balanced on top of me, and people were like, this is so funny. And then so I started taking more. And then so all these commenters were like, oh my God, this needs to be a coffee table book, a calendar, put these pictures on mugs, do anything. And I eventually got together with my photographer friend, Troy Conrad, who shoots for Comedy Central, shoots all these major specials.
He used to be Comedy Jesus or something, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Comedy Jesus.
Troy.
He was an Arizona guy. He created this show called Setlist, toured it all over the world. Amazing human being. One of my favorite people
I haven't
on the
seen
planet.
him in years, man.
Oh, he's such a good dude, man. I haven't gotten to see him in a few months, obviously, because of all this shit. But I mean, before that, we'd run into each other a couple times a week, and he just put such a smile on my face. But he was one of those people who just said, like, Alex, like, I told him the idea about the Pug Yoga calendar, and he's like, oh, cool, we're doing that. And I was like, well, let's think about it. He's like, Alex, why would we not do that? Like, give me a reason why we shouldn't do this. And I was like, he's like, yeah, exactly. So let's go and we'll plan out some photos and we'll take some test shots and we'll figure out if we can make this viable. And, you know, next thing you know, had all these amazing photos and we're designing this calendar, and I brought these friends in to like really make this thing beautiful. I wanted people, if you spent $20 on a calendar, I wanted you to be really, really happy with it. I want you to go, okay, I got this thing from Vistaprint and it looks fine or whatever. I'm happy I supported Alex, whatever. I wanted people to open this thing and go, wow, this is beautiful. I am proud to hang this in my cubicle, my kitchen, on the ceiling above my bed so I can look at it while I have sex, whatever the hell you're thinking about. And then next thing you know, like, we just had this beautiful calendar and it got picked up by the Ellen show. You know, rest in peace, Ellen. Sorry about everything that's going on with you right now. But and she featured it on her show, and she held the calendar up and blasted an image of Kimchi and I behind her. And I didn't even know it was coming. Like, they had asked for calendars, but like 2 months earlier. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then literally I started getting phone calls in the middle of the day, like, do you know you're on the Ellen show right now? And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And luckily somebody taped it for me and just sent it over. And I mean, what a bizarre feeling, but also what a testament to just believing in a silly idea and putting effort into it to create something that had never been done before. And that, you know, it just was one of those things. It solidified this mentality in me that was like, I just need to believe in my ideas and put forth the work to make them come to life in a beautiful way. And if you do that, it doesn't matter how stupid. If you told anyone that idea, if you're like, hey, you want to make a Pug Yoga calendar? They'd be like, what? I have better things to do. And I would have thought the same thing for myself. But the fact is, if you put your all into it, beautiful, amazing things happen.
Absolutely, man. Hey, thanks so much for coming on today. I already hit the 45-minute mark. I don't like to keep people too long. So, dude, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Such a pleasure.
And, like, congrats to you on AGT. That was super cool to see on there. I had my whole family watching and stuff. They're all cheering for you. So it was cool, man. It was cool to see. So I hope it brings you a lot of success, man. You're a good dude.
Definitely. Well, Curt, you know, I love you so much, man. It's so fun to work with you. I love watching you on stage. And
I appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much for having me on this podcast. And I can't wait till we can be back out there again and just shucking and jiving in the real world, dude.
Heck yeah. All right. Take care, Alex.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
Thanks, buddy.